Hey, what's up, everybody? We know that it is a super hot housing market right now, very much a seller's market. And a lot of folks are out there wondering what's going on with all the bidding wars on houses right now? Well, that's a great question, and we're going to talk about it right now. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Mark with the My Front Range Living team, powered by RE/MAX Integrity. I am a full-time real estate agent here in Colorado Springs, and today we're going to be talking about bidding wars on houses. Now, obviously, being in Colorado Springs, it's probably more specific to our market. However, we hope that this is hopeful on a general basis for everybody who's out there just curious. So, if you're living in Colorado Springs, moving to Colorado Springs, buying a house in Colorado Springs, this is going to help you for sure. So first and foremost, as we talked about at the very start of this whole video, there's an inventory shortage. The housing market is hot. It is 100% a seller's market, and there's just not enough houses to go around. It's important to understand that it's not just a home purchase, it's just an inventory issue. And that's why bidding wars are so hot and heavy right now. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you about the appraisal gap. So if you missed it, we have a video on appraisal gaps specifically, and you can check that out right here. But the appraisal gap is basically bringing more cash to the table to cover any discrepancy between the contract price and the appraised price. Obviously, the lender is going to give you money all day long on whatever the appraisal value of the home is, but not necessarily the contract price. So if the contract price has gone above the appraisal price, then that's going to be necessary to bring cash as the buyer with that. So an appraisal gap is going to make you more appealing to a seller because not only are you offering more money, you have money to back up just in case the house doesn't appraise. So it used to be where a seller would list their house, they needed to appraise at whatever the contract price was. Otherwise, there was more negotiations. In this market, that's not the case. People are going well over asking, and the seller wants to see that you're bringing the cash, not them. And so in order to be competitive in a bidding war, you're going to need an appraisal gap. Escalation clause. If you have followed us at all, we've talked about escalation clauses for a while. You can check that video out right here. So escalation clause, think eBay. Hey, the house is listed at 400. We're going to give you 410, and we will beat any competing offer by $5,000 up to 430. So again, you can see how that escalation clause is going to come in with the appraisal gap, right? Where if the house only appraises at 415, someone's going to have to bring that $15,000 difference on that $430,000 escalation clause. And again, in that video that you saw on the escalation clause, it's not just arbitrary. The listing agent and the seller can't just say, oh, we have this offer that kicked in your escalation clause. It is important that they have to bring you the documentation of the other contract that initiated the escalation clause. So the appraisal gap is one way to be competitive in a bidding war. The escalation clause is a great way to be competitive in a bidding war. Let's talk about the inspection. Well, right now, I have seen it where people are waiving their right to an inspection entirely. We do not recommend that on the team. We recommend that you still have the inspection done by an independent third party. That's vitally important because you need to know if anything is wrong with this house. So waiving the inspection entirely is super risky and not something we recommend. That said, we are putting in our contracts right now that the only thing that we're going to ask for is health, safety, and function. Meaning, let's say, for example, you want to place a radon test in a house. If that radon comes back hot, yeah, we're going to have to talk about mitigation. That's a health and safety concern. If there's a foundation concern, that's an issue. If the roof needs to be replaced or there's something substantial like health, safety, and function only. We're not going to get too upset that the garage door doesn't have spring-loaded hinges on it. We're not going to get too upset about a bedroom door that doesn't latch 100%. We'll take care of that later, right? So that helps the seller feel better. Great, I'm not going to have to do too terribly much on the inspection. It's not going to be that big of a deal, and it makes you look more appealing as a buyer. They're going to want to come to you. Another thing that we're seeing right now in the market is a post-closing occupancy agreement. Basically what that means is we're going to close, but we're also going to stay in the house for a while. And that gets kind of interesting. So stick with me on this, all right? So a post-closing occupancy agreement basically means we're going to close on March 31st, but we can't move out until April 5th. And sometimes we've seen it up to 4 and 6 weeks in this current market. So basically what it looks like is the seller is building a brand new home or something like that, and they need to sell their current home to have the resources to put down on the new one, but the house isn't ready yet. So they need to stay in this house for a while. So the post-closing occupancy agreement can be however long of time period it needs to be. But here's the important thing. A lot of buyers are waiving their fees for a post-closing occupancy agreement, meaning that seller can stay in the house at really no charge for a certain amount of time. Now, granted, you're going to write a separate document, of course, for the post-closing occupancy agreement. It's not in the contract. And there is a deposit and all that stuff. Think of it as a lease, if you will, but there's no charge. So if you want to be competitive as a buyer and you have that flexibility, again, back to the appraisal gap, cash is a big deal. If you can give them the opportunity to stay in the house a little bit longer and not charge them, that's going to make you look more appealing. If you are in a bidding war right now and you are contingent on the sale of your home, that is a super tough spot to be in. That's just a very, very difficult spot to be in. Contingencies are tough right now. Here's my recommendation. If you need to sell a house before you can buy the next one, the recommendation is have your current house ready to market. Meaning it's in the MLS, you have all the photos taken, and you're ready to click, you have your agent ready to click active the second that you have an accepted offer on another home. That's going to be key because the listing agent the seller's going to have their listing agent reach out and say, well, they're contingent on selling this house. This could take a while, and that's another variable for us. So basically what we're trying to say is sellers are looking for the fewest amount of variables as possible. That basically takes the appraisal gap, takes the appraisal objection away. The escalation clause gives them highest and best. And here's what's interesting about the escalation clause. We're not even recommending those now. We're going highest and best right out of the gate. So that's something else to keep in mind. Rather than kick the escalation clause on a $400,000 house, don't go in at 400. Go higher than that just to be competitive, okay? And then you can escalate from there. But the escalation clause gives them the highest and best. The inspection, by saying it's health, safety, and function only, you really take that inspection objection away as well. By doing a post-closing occupancy agreement, you are able to give the sellers exactly what they want from a logistics standpoint and staying with the house. By taking the contingency out of the equation altogether, that's going to put you in a competitive spot because you take the contingency objection away. So again, the sellers are looking to take away as many variables or objections in this case as is humanly possible. Hey, as always, everybody, we are so glad that you stopped by. We hope you found value in today's content. We are putting out videos every single week to help you make Colorado Springs feel like home. If you would like more information, you're thinking about relocating to Colorado Springs, or you're in the market to buy, you can go down below in the description of the video and you can see our relocation guide and our buyer's guide. You're welcome to download those. Those are yours, no obligation whatsoever. Once again, Mark with the My Front Range Living team, powered by RE/MAX Integrity. Thanks for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.